Well, let's go. Tom, you're going to share some thoughts with us regarding your cane making. So thanks for volunteering to do that. And why don't we turn this over to you and go from there?
Turn it over to me and Phil. Phil's been a great help for preparing this.
Great.
Sue Ann took some of my thunder away, talking about volunteer work and getting pleasure and stuff like that. My situation, I was asked to talk about a hobby I picked up since I retired. And Phil has a title page to my little talk here.
Great.
Well, I guess I want to talk to you about the title. I follow the old thing that all the teachers used to follow. You tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them again what you told them. And so I'm going to talk about how I got into this hobby and why would I get into the hobby of making walking sticks, for God's sakes, and the process I use and why I call them whimsy sticks. And this is the most rewarding activity I've ever done for fun. Start with the first slide because it explains how I started by showing you the first stick I've made, which you see is a straightforward piece of wood. I've dolled it up since I first made it, some leather, but it's basically a piece of wood with the bark cut off and spaced on the stick. And the very top is a coin. Turned out 21 years ago, I moved back from Washington, D.C. to the Bay Area. I had several things happen to me. One of which is I found out I had Parkinson's, and two, I decided to retire. So my wife and I, Nancy, started looking around for a place to retire. We couldn't afford to retire in the city where we're living, San Francisco. We found a place up in between Sacramento and Reno called Pollock Pines, El Dorado County. Oh. And so before we went up to the house, we went on a trip to Italy. And during the trip, Nancy got ill. She couldn't walk. We didn't know what it was. But just before we left, I was sitting in a little villa we were in Tuscany. I picked up some sticks around the road. They were left over from a village that collected sticks, and they made charcoal out of them. The charcoal was used to make stained glass windows for the Vatican. So these are kind of neat sticks. I sat down with my Swiss Army knife and carved that stick. And I went to the local shop and got a little shellac and covered it up. And that's what I had. So we flew back to the San Francisco from Milan. And by the way, the sticks got us first-class tickets. So two old people with sticks took pity on us and put us on first class. But so I came back and I decided that with the advent of my illness, that making sticks would be a good therapy for eye-hand coordination and stuff like that. So I started making them for friends and family. Next slide. There's the sample of butter I was making.
Wow.
Wow, they're beautiful.
And how I made one from one stick to that kind of selection of variety and volume is part of the story I'm going to tell now. One of the reasons I started making them was because I got such praise. My ego was suffering so much that I was really soaking up with people who were praising my artwork. Yeah. And so I started making them, and someone suggested, like I said, I should sell them. So I said, I really don't want to sell them. I think I'll do better by asking for donations from them. I'll take those donations, I'll give it to Parkinson's charities and support groups. Next slide, please.
Wow.
So what I found is one thing in El Dorado County, in all the forests, it's on the edge of the forest, national forest, the state forest, and a county forest, was plenty of raw materials. The picture of the wood up there shows a dirty old stick, which I started with, lots of bark. I scraped all the bark off and polished the wood, or I scraped some of it off. And in many cases, I decorated them. And when I decorated them, there was rocks, plenty of rocks up there. and bits of jewelry and stuff I picked up at the flea markets and yard sales. Next slide, please.
Mhm.
And the different shapes and sizes. The wood told me what to do.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Really.
So there's one that's black, one is the wood was fine, but looked pretty crummy. So I painted it dark black. I had a silver belt with silver flowers on it. I wrapped it around there. That became my opera walking stick. That one, I got a donation for $100 for that one.
Oh my God.
Nice.
And the one in the middle, it's got some silver pieces with turquoise in them. And the third one is my favorite one. Go ahead. The third one has it's just one twisted in such a way it made a perfect handle.
Mhm.
So next slide, please. And here's some of the toppings I put on them.
Oh,
Wow.
Amazing.
yeah.
And it's just with leather and glue and one thing about the place I had up in Eldorado, I had a big enough shop I could do stuff easily. And one big thing is people like to donate. They donate money for is the ones with the crystals on top.
Better not be me.
It's you.
Oh, wow.
There's me.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
next slide is why I felt it so rewarding. Not only get pleasure from creating something, I got everyone is one of a kind, obviously, and I got the whimsy bit because whimsy means being fun, being mischievous, and last minute kind of thing. So I said everyone was a creative process, matching the wood up with a piece of jewelry or whatever, and that I call them whimsy sticks, and therefore I got a lot of pleasure just doing it. And also the better pleasure I got is the people who got the sticks. These people are people who worked with the elderly, or worked with volunteer work, or people who also have the same affliction. Santa Claus got it because I used the sticks in such a way to get community activities. I volunteered with the Fire Safe Council, with the gardening club, and some others. As music is not mine. Anyhow, the became a community fixture, and the real reward I got was ability to work with so many people who show their compassion and care for everybody else. And so I gave 6 away, and the groups auctioned them off to the public library, for school projects, for food banks, etc. So not only get pleasure giving to people who supported my charities, I use them to support other activities in the area. So the real reward was, that's fine.
well, that's quite a hobby that turned into something very rewarding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
You helped a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I went out in the community, I set up booths, and there I am with a couple of tables I set up. One is at a festival. They have a wagon train going from all the way in Nevada all the way to Sacramento, called Wagon Trail. And I set up there. I also set up with 4th of July and stuff like that. And I sit down and people come and look at the sticks and flatter me for how good they looked. I also gave them the opportunity to give them information on Parkinson's and the other charities I was supporting. So it gave me a way to get a focus point on that situation. And people were so happy to give me money because they weren't giving it to me, they're giving it to a charity. So I was happy to give them away for that purpose.
Yeah.
So last slide shows one of the reasons I do it. I use it to hold myself up.
That's
So
a great
great.
photo.
That's great.
That's awesome.
That
That's a
is.
great
It
photo.
really is beautiful.
So
Helps it all, Tom.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
And
Great.
thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Tom. That's a
Five
great
minutes.
story.
I think there are times we can all use one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to know you use your own product, so that's good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Hey, Phil,
now-
you're,
now-
you're becoming a producer here with all these graphics and everything. So thanks
Yeah.
for all you're doing there.
I like your
Bill-
presentation.
Great job, Tom.
Indeed.
Well,
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Philbrook,
Beautiful work.
maybe let me rehearse this today. But in assisted living, I don't have a place to make them anymore. I have a few left over. But I still can attach jewelry to some pieces of wood. But I really don't have an opportunity to do that anymore. So I rest on my laurels.
Great.
Tom, I was wondering, how do I get it? Tom, were you able to use the abalone shells for your sticks?
Yes, I used inlaid them, several of them. Also, I
Oh,
used
very good.
another thing I did with the rocks and sticks and all that. I made tail gardens with succulent plants in them and stuff like that. So I have get bowls at the yard sales, and some big crystal bowls and something like that. I put sand in, I plant succulents in, and then I put rocks and shells in them and stuff like that. And they sold one of them went for $120 in one auction for charity.
How
Really?
awesome.
Very
That's
good.
great.
That's
Well, Tom,
amazing.
thanks for sharing all of that. I'll say this. We haven't seen you in a long time, Tom. You're looking great.
Thank you. At least one thing that did making the sticks and doing what I did, it gave me a purpose to fight the disease. I had ability to fight the disease. I
Good for
can't
you.
support you like that. So I don't let things get me down. I find a way to fight it or deal with it otherwise.
Good for you. That's
But
great.
we're lucky to have you.
Yes, yes, we are.
Very good.
Thank
to
you.
have here.
And you can certainly say your products are made in America.
Really.
Yes.
That's right.
I use another saying. The people I worked with, all the charities and all that. The one thing I wrote a guest editorial in the local paper. I said, and not to reflect my opinions as neutral. I said, America was great. America is great. America will be great with the compassionate and kind people we are.
Indeed, that's
Yep.
true. Indeed.
Read to that.
Tom, I
Thank you for
remember,
your beautiful story.
Tom, I remember Judy Antone had one of yours, Judy Buckholz.
Oh, wow.
It helped her a lot.